Hey, what's up guys, it's Disturbed, and today I'm going to be comparing LMGs and assault rifles to see which is the better choice for patch 1.3. I previously actually made a video on this, but my UI was bugging out and it was giving me the wrong information, and I actually uploaded the video without knowing that. Luckily, not that many people saw it, and a subscriber actually told me that I had it backwards, so I'm fixing that video here. Damn division glitching out all over the place. Anyways, regardless, let's get right into it. So as many of you probably know, both LMGs and assault rifles will be getting buffs in the new update, and there's a lot of confusion surrounding which will be the better weapon, so I thought that I would clear that up in this video. Starting off, let's take a look at the buffs both guns are going to be getting. LMGs are going to get an additional 20 to 25% damage bonus to enemies out of cover, which I consider a flatter damage bonus because 95% of the NPCs that you're shooting and players are out of cover, so essentially they're getting a 20 to 25% extra damage buff. While on the other hand, assault rifles are getting 20 to 25% additional enemy armor damage. What enemy armor damage does is just increases your damage done to all NPCs while they still have their armor bar up, which is about 95% of the overall health. So this too is basically just a 20 to 25% damage bonus. But enemy armor damage doesn't work against other players, so if you're wondering what would be better in PvP, LMGs are still better, hands down. Feel free to end the video now, but that's only for PvP. But when talking about NPCs, the buffs for both LMGs and ARs are getting almost exactly the same thing. So to determine which is the best choice, we have to compare the two. So the LMG I'm going to be using is an L86, which is known to be the best LMG in the game due to its higher rate of fire, its faster reload speed, and its high firearms damage scaling as compared to the other LMGs. Another great LMG, if you're wondering, is the RPK-74 because of its higher rate of fire and its bigger magazine size, but its damage doesn't scale as well as the L86 does, so the L86 is still a bit better. Every other LMG in my opinion just isn't worth touching because the damage is too low along with the rate of fire, so the L86 and the RPK are the only ones that I think are worth using. Either way, we're going to be comparing this 204 L86 with a 163 AK-74. The AK-74 is not the best assault rifle in the game. I just chose it because its stats are very similar to that of the L86's, and it makes it a lot easier for me to compare. Also, it's only 163 gear score because I just couldn't find a 204 version, but it's still fine for comparing, and you'll see why in a minute here. Now before I start comparing them, I just want to let you guys know that all these things are showing you aren't going to be swayed by weapon talents. You can see both these guns don't have any weapon talents that would change that by my testing. Also, I don't have any gear set bonuses or anything like that. Alright, so for the damage, the L86 has 8,516 base damage, while the AK-74 has 8,845 base damage. You could just subject that to a bad roll, but keep in mind that the AK is only 163 gear score, and if it were a 204 gear score, it would probably have around 10 to 11k base damage, so already the AK is winning there. Now if we look at the RPM, the L86 has 610 and the AK has 600. It's only a difference of 10, which really doesn't mean that much in terms of damage. Also, the magazine sizes of the weapons are both 30, so neither of them has the upper hand there. Now if we go to compare the weapon stats themselves, firstly you can see that with the L86 equipped, that has 100% headshot damage, but with the AK it has just 75% headshot damage, and that's because the LMGs have a built-in 25% additional headshot damage, which is basically just having a free brutal talent just for using a light machine gun. As for the accuracy, the L86 has 44 while the AK has 54, so there's another point for the AK, but accuracy really doesn't do that much in terms of an extra damage boost, but either way there's a bonus for the AK. For their stability, the L86 has 39 while the AK has 37, so they're essentially the same thing, not much of a difference there. Now looking at optimum range, which is basically how far of a distance you can shoot a target before your damage starts to drop off, the L86 has 32 meters while the AK has 26 meters. So the L86 has 6 additional meters, which can actually be pretty helpful in a lot of situations. So there's another point for the L86. It's not that big of a deal because most of the time you're shooting enemies within 20 meters of you, but it's still a nice bonus, I guess. Now looking at the reload times, the L86 has a 2.9 second reload and the AK has a 3 second reload. Again, the L86 wins by a tenth of a second, but it's not that big of a deal. So in summary, the AK has way more base damage, but the LMG has a farther optimal range and a built-in 25% additional headshot damage, better stability, and a slightly faster reload time and faster rounds per minute. So it ends up being a pick between way extra more base damage or extra headshot damage. The other stats don't really matter that much as they're only slightly better. Now, as you can see here, if I headshot the target dummy with my AK, it does 15,479, and that's with a 163 gear score AK. With my 204 gear score L86, I do 17,032, so the damage I'm losing is only 1,553. But we do have to remember that this AK is a 163 gear score. So if it were 204, it would have around 10k base damage. That's actually probably the minimum. It could get up to even 11k. So anyways, let's multiply 10k by my headshot damage. So my answer would be 7,500 because my headshot damage is 75%. And then add that to my base damage. So my headshot damage would end up being 17,500, which is 468 damage more than that of the L86. So it's an extremely small advantage. So essentially the AK still has more damage, and the additional headshot damage just isn't enough to save the LMG. Because when it comes down to it, the AK still has more base damage, so all of the body shots are doing more than that of the LMG, and even if you somehow manage to have like a 100% headshot chance, the AK will still be doing more damage. And that's not even to mention the fact that the AK isn't even the best assault rifle. I just chose it because it's the easiest to compare with the L86 because the rounds per minute is very similar and the damage. But I'm sure if you look at the overall DPS of a Scar L, an M4, or an LVOAC, all of those higher end assault rifles will leave the L86 in the dust. Overall, both the LMG and the assault rifle are very close in terms of their damage, but assault rifles are still best against NPCs, and LMGs will beat them in PvP hands down. But now, if you get an L86 or an RPK with good talents on it, don't just instantly deconstruct it because it might actually be better than what you have. Anyways guys, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please drop a like and subscribe for videos similar to this one. I'll see you later guys.